Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Golden Apple Foundation, welcome to the 2020 Scholar Induction Ceremony. My name is Ziggy Blackwell, Director of Scholar Recruitment, and I will be your host today. Before I begin, scholars, today it's all about you. So this is your time to get your Snapchat filters, your TikTok videos ready. Congratulate and thank your parents, your grandparents, guardians, hug your brothers and sisters. Thank them for this moment. Today is a special moment, not only for Golden Apple and our community, but also for you. I hope you really enjoyed today's program. Before I begin, I do want to recognize the recruitment team. These are individuals that you should recognize and be familiar with. Norma De La Rosa, Manager of Recruitment and Scholar Support, and Rocio Manriquez, Assistant Director of Selection and Program Coordination. Norma, Rocio, I can't thank you enough for the wonderful work you've done throughout the year. You guys have worked weekends, evenings. These are the individuals that have texted our scholars, called you to get you to this moment. Thank you, Norma and Rocio. I wish I could high five both of you right now. This is a special moment, not only for our new scholars and their family members, but also for the recruitment team. So I would like to talk to you about how we got to this moment. For the past 9 months, Rocio, Norma, and I have read nearly 2,000 applications, completed 4 scholar interviews, and finally, here we are, accepting 300 new students into the Golden Apple Scholars Program. Having read your applications, I'm pleased to share with the Golden Apple community that not only are we welcoming a record number of new scholars, but we are inducting students who are leaders in their schools, volunteers in their community, tutors to their peers, full-time students working part-time jobs, and most of all, future teachers committed to teach in schools of need throughout Illinois. To our guests who may not understand the significance of this commitment, before I started the recruitment year and before I started visiting high schools and traveling to universities, the state of Illinois released a report of 1,800 teaching vacancies in the state of Illinois, many of these positions within schools of need. As a teacher preparation program, this call to action speaks directly to Golden Apple. So we have made it our mission to address this teacher shortage through the Scholars Program. And I'm pleased to see 300 new scholars who will eventually insert themselves into these schools. To our new scholars, I recall speaking with many of you before you decided to submit your application. Yes, I remember walking into Niles North High School. I remember traveling to Solorio High School. I remember driving from Jacksonville, Illinois, from Carlinville, Illinois. I remember speaking with many of you scholars before your scholar interview. So to our scholars from Winnebago, as far as Marion, Illinois, I recall these conversations. And I remember a frequent question you asked of me. Ziggy, how do I stand out knowing that the Scholars Program is so competitive? If you remember, I always wanted you to reflect on who or what inspires you to become a teacher. I felt if you could concentrate on that, your passion will come out. I remember your response. Many of you told me about former teachers who went above and beyond to get you from point A to B, no matter your identities, obstacles, preparation, or support. Right now, I want you to think of that former teacher. I'm doing the exact same, remembering a teacher who was influential in my life. Reminisce on how they challenged you to work harder, believed in your abilities, supported you with empathy, Soon you will become that teacher who will motivate students to be the best version of themselves. Before I pass the baton to my fellow scholar directors, who will provide extraordinary layers of support, here is what you can expect. Not only will we prepare you to become a highly effective teacher, we will transform you into an agent of change. Be the change you wish to see in the world. This is the epitome of what it means to be a Golden Apple Scholar. Eventually, you will become that change agent inside schools of need throughout the state of Illinois, impacting the lives of hundreds of young people. I am so proud of each and every one of you. So it is my pleasure to hand you over to Cheryl Flores, Director of Academic and Social Emotional Support as a newly inducted scholar. Cheryl?
Thank you, Ziggy. Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to the Golden Apple community. Before I go on and share a little bit about how our team and you will work together these next couple of years, I want you to think back on that teacher that Ziggy just mentioned. Who was that teacher that inspired you? And more importantly, how did they inspire you? As you heard, we read hundreds of applications and we read about some of the remarkable teachers that made an impact in your life. We read about Mr. Vokes and the way you saw he showed up every day for his students. But more importantly, the way he showed up when he saw a student was struggling. We read about Mrs. Frank and the way you thought she was mean at first, but really she was just pushing you because she knew you could do better. And we also read about Miss Hips and the impact it made on you when you saw a teacher who shared the same culture as you. However they inspired you, I want you to know that by being here today and making this immense commitment to the teaching profession, you too will go on to make an impact on thousands of students' lives. You will be that teacher. And that in part is why 82% of our scholars go on to stay in the teaching profession for 5 or more years. Imagine the impact you will have in 5 years alone. But before you get to the classroom, you have to graduate from college. And that is where my team and I come in. Myself and my amazing partner in this work, Jordan Lamfair, will be there with you every step of the way until you graduate. Our team oversees academic and social emotional supports for you all. Everything from supporting you with overcoming procrastination, time management, or helping you solidify your study skills, to helping you cope when life presents its challenges. We will be there for you. This work can't be done alone, and that is where our university partners come in. At each university, we have a university liaison. This is a faculty member on your campus, and they are there to support you as well. Everything from student teaching to endorsements, they are your go-to. This work, again, can't be done alone, and you will also have supports from your peers on campus, many of whom are being inducted today, but many returning scholars as well. Additionally, if you're an incoming freshman, you will be partnered with a peer mentor. This individual scholar will help you transition to college campus life. And lastly, there's an opportunity for you to meet with scholars across campuses and across cohorts in affinity. Again, where our team is here to support you. I look forward to meeting many of you during Scholar Institute. And if this all sounds overwhelming but exciting at the same time, it should. Again, this is your first journey of being a Golden Apple Scholar, and I am super excited to be here in community with you all. I'm now going to introduce our Director of Scholar Institute and Curriculum, Neil Grimes.
Thanks, Cheryl. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil. Congratulations to the newly inducted scholars. Thanks for spending some time with us today, celebrating your commitment to becoming a teacher. As a teacher, you have to show a lot of humility in front of your students. While my sense of fashion was not phenomenal in 2005, joining the community has been one of the best decisions of my life. The experiences have been amazing. Great teachers plan with the end in mind. Using the race analogy, the picture on the right is your finish line. After completing our mission of teaching in a school of need in Illinois for 5 years, you will become a Crystal Apple Award winner and you'll receive your Crystal Apple. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, I want to take a few minutes and fill you in on Scholar Institute. Scholar Institute is a multi-week residential professional development conference. We host Scholar Institute at universities across Illinois. Each summer, you will stay with us at those hosting universities and participate in 3 main experiences: teaching, learning, and reflecting. Our teaching experiences connect you to rural, suburban, and urban school districts in Illinois. This is an opportunity for you to gain much more experience as a classroom teacher before your first job. Our hands-on instructional model for learning and reflecting experiences involves you learning from Golden Apple award-winning educators. We have an awesome ecosystem of teachers and school leaders joining our Academy of Educators and then preparing the next generation of teachers, which is you. Innovative coursework at Scholar Institute helped me be successful at my university, but also, much more importantly, prepared me for my future students once I became that teacher. While attending Illinois State University, I used the skills I learned at Scholar Institute to help me with that college coursework. I felt I had more to offer in my classes because I had much more teaching experience in front of students from across the state. Also, while attending Scholar Institute, I had the opportunity to meet instructors and peers that supported my growth as an educator. I always felt I had a team of educators and peers to support me with questions and to talk about how to be the best teacher I can be. You are joining a professional community that will support you during undergrad, but will also be there to support you during your first years of teaching. You'll hear more about mentoring later. It sounds far off, but you will meet your students for the first time in a few years. Take advantage of all the additional Scholar Institute experiences and community members you'll meet. I look forward to you meeting your students for the first time and feeling prepared to teach. All of the curriculum is connected to these core competencies: civic engagement, cultural competency, growth mindset, instructional best practices, and professional expectations. We will go over this in much more detail when Scholar Institute starts, but your main takeaway about Scholar Institute curriculum should be, we provide you with many opportunities to apply skills you are learning with us. We want you to be actively engaged in your learning, to model great teaching, and to ensure you feel confident and prepared for your students. As you know, this summer, we've transitioned Scholar Institute to a virtual format. I want to highlight just a few points with you today. We're going to be spending about 10 hours together synchronously, which means live. We're also going to have about 10 hours of asynchronous time, which will be self-directed. One of our key highlights of each summer is the community that we build amongst our peers. We'll be having a lot of opportunity for you to build new relationships in more of a social setting that we would have gotten if we were all together, but we're going to do our best virtually to support that as well. Scholars attending SI1 and SI2 will be invited to our conference app early next week. Please check your emails for instructions on how to download the app in your app store. I'm now going to pass it off to my colleague who is also a Golden Apple Scholar, and she's also a member of our Academy of Educators, Dr. Talia Reamer, Director of Placement and Alumni Relations. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Neil. Greetings, scholars. My name is Talia Eve Reamer, and as you heard, I'm a part of the Placement and Alumni Relations team. Along with Jasmine Jones, we have the responsibility of making sure that once you graduate, you land a teaching job that is a best fit for you and allows you to fulfill your commitment to the Golden Apple Foundation. We also make sure that after you complete your 5 years of teaching and enter the classroom, you have multiple opportunities to remain engaged with the work of the Golden Apple Foundation. Now, as a brand spanking new Golden Apple Scholar, you might think it's a little early in the game to already be talking about a first teaching job and becoming an alumni. But here at Golden Apple, we begin with the finish line in mind. From your very first day of Scholar Institute, we begin preparing you for entering the job field. We will support you throughout your years as a scholar with placement support in the forms of helping you to map your undergraduate experience to maximize your preparation for the classroom, helping you to explore schools of need throughout the state where excellent teachers are needed the most. We will support you in crafting the most effective resume you can as a new teacher that sets you apart from the other applicants and highlights your strengths. We will prepare you for interviewing, whether virtually or in person. And lastly, we will support you by connecting you to HR professionals and administrators throughout the state who are specifically looking to hire scholars just like you. Now, if that isn't enough to knock your golden socks off, after you complete your 5 years in the classroom, you become a Golden Apple alumni. With the Golden Apple Alumni Relations Council, you will find a network of dedicated Golden Apple educators who are eager to share with you their knowledge and expertise, develop your skills as a teacher leader, and support the ongoing work of the Golden Apple Foundation. We welcome you. Welcome to the first lap of your run as a scholar. You are off to a golden start. Now I'd like to welcome my very good friend and the director of the Golden Apple Mentoring Program, Mrs. Kisa Thurman Stovall.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited for you. Can I just say it? I'm super excited for us. I am Kisa Thurman Stovall, a 1992 Golden Apple Scholar. So I've been where you are, and I assure you that your experiences as a Golden Apple Scholar will set you up as a masterful teacher who will elevate the profession. Yeah, I just said it. You heard me accurately. Elevate the profession. Elevation begins the moment you start the leg of your teaching career and working with Golden Apple's mentoring program. As your director of mentoring, please know that the mentoring team, Rosie, Ann, and over 40 other GA community members, and myself, we're going to support you. We'll provide you supports with acclimating to the profession. We'll assist you with establishing yourself as the instructional lead by creating those entry plans that are so vital to be able to teach on day one. We'll help you with strengthening your teaching proficiency by observing your delivery of instruction with the students that you serve in your classroom. We'll offer you feedback in real time, which we know will improve the outcomes for your students. We'll assist you with building that teacher resiliency and stamina that's much needed to be sustained in the profession. Teaching for 5 years in a school of need poses its own set of challenges. Rest assured that Golden Apple is committed to helping you successfully navigate through all of that. We will work diligently to ensure that we are able to celebrate you as a Crystal Apple recipient. And just as importantly, we want to be certain to welcome you to continue to engage with us as a completed scholar on your next, not final, but your next leg of the race. I know that I just shared a lot, and it's one thing to hear it from us, Golden Apple staff members, right? But it's something else to hear it from scholars who are currently going through the program. So here's a video that captures the impact that Golden Apple has on our scholars and the various legs of the race that is Golden Apple. Thank you guys and welcome.
There is a growing crisis in Illinois and across the nation. Students are increasingly denied the benefits of learning from highly effective educators as more than 1,000 teaching positions remain unfilled annually. Teacher vacancies exceed 1,400, translating into tens of thousands of students without a qualified teacher, the single most important factor to student learning outside of parents.
I have found classrooms that have been vacant of licensed teachers for 2 years. I have heard of small rural schools that have lost a third of their teachers in the first week of school.
In Illinois, 85% of school superintendents report difficulty filling teacher positions, and 79% report significantly fewer qualified applicants. Even worse today, new teachers rarely stay in teaching longer than 4 years.
It's students looking you in the face and saying, I don't have to listen because you're probably not going to make it past December. None of my other teachers did.
We're going to need a unique set of solutions to solve this problem in Illinois. There's one program that does it well beyond any other, and clearly it's the Golden Apple Foundation.
Golden Apple Scholars, a proven answer to the escalating teacher shortage crisis. Aspiring teachers are recruited and are prepared for success in challenging school settings. Joining the program right out of high school or early college, scholars are diverse, talented, accomplished, and driven to be agents of change.
I've always wanted to be a teacher ever since I was shown the power that teachers have. When I was in 6th grade, I had my first teacher that looked like me. I had my first black teacher. She was like the first example that I could do something in the world and influence others. Being able to influence people to be the best that they can be, showing people that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve, that's all that I'm about.
In Illinois, teachers of color comprise only 15% of the public school teaching workforce. Golden Apple Scholars reflect the students they teach, and many return to teach in their own communities.
I lived in the same house my whole life. I'm teaching at a school that's literally down the street. Like, I know this community, I know this school is huge.
These are high potential young people, students of color, first generation in their family to attend college. We're not only changing their life and the lives of their students, we're changing the future generations of their family.
Through innovative programs, instruction, and mentoring, Golden Apple transforms teachers and teaching.
We find those young people who have that passion, that mission to become great teachers. We provide services, we provide talent, we provide expertise that's not provided anywhere else, so that our teachers are going to come in day one ready to teach.
Scholars log hundreds of hours of teaching in a variety of urban, rural, and suburban schools before their first teaching position, ensuring every scholar is prepared to serve the unique needs of students across Illinois.
Chicago Public Schools partners with the Golden Apple Scholars Program because we've been able to recruit some well-trained teachers, but also teachers who meet the needs of our students in some of our most underserved schools.
More than 80% of principals surveyed agree Golden Apple Scholars are better prepared to teach on day one than new teachers prepared by any other program. 97% of principals surveyed want and need more scholars.
They know that if they come from the Scholars Program, regardless of the circumstances that are thrown at that teacher, they know they're going to be successful in the classroom.
When you have outstanding teachers in a classroom, the whole world opens up to students. You have students who are otherwise disengaged who become engaged.
Expert instruction at Scholar Institutes focuses on trauma-informed training, personalized learning, and civic engagement, ensuring scholars develop the skills needed to thrive in the 21st century classroom. Curriculum partnerships with Lurie's Trauma-Informed Training, LEAP Innovations, Facing History and Ourselves, and the Erickson Institute for Early Education prepare our scholars to teach effectively in high-need schools.
Students are facing so much that we just don't even realize and we don't even know. They're in such a vulnerable state, and it's scary. Lurie's training has been so vital.
Teacher preparation programs don't equip teachers with the skills and the tools they need to understand what happens to a child when they grow up in poverty, The Golden Apple Scholars Program equips teachers to understand what it takes to turn that situation around one student at a time.
The intensive preparation, support, and mentoring that is provided results in scholars staying in teaching longer than educators prepared by any other program. While enrollment in Illinois colleges of education has declined drastically, Golden Apple Scholars has experienced exponential growth.
I know that the Golden Apple Foundation has constantly, continuously put forward solutions to many of the deep challenges we face in public education in the state. And I'm confident that that's going to continue for years to come.
We must do better for Illinois students in high-need schools. To deliver more highly effective educators to classrooms, the Scholars Program must continue to grow. Golden Apple is committed to doubling the size of the Scholars Program by 2024. Golden Apple Scholars, the proven solution to the Illinois teacher shortage crisis.
I still get inspired by that video every time I hear it. Before I introduce our next speaker, I do want to take a moment to recognize the Golden Apple staff members, our mentors, our teaching scholars, alumni community who are streaming all over the state. Our newly inducted scholars, if you look in your chat feature, you should recognize a few names of individuals who interviewed you. I hope you are making that connection because you are being welcomed into the family now. So please make that connection as we continue the program. Now I would like to introduce and welcome Golden Apple board member and Golden Apple scholar, Louis Chipetta. Louis?
Thank you, Ziggy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to our CEO, Alicia Winkler, our president, Alan Mather, our founders, Mike and his late wife, Pat Koldyke, and to our Golden Apple staff. My thanks to the chairman of the board, Bob Newman, and all the board members that are on this virtual induction today. And thank you, parents. And of course, thank you, Golden Apple Scholar Class of 2020. My name is Louis Chipetta. I'm a Golden Apple board member. I'm a partner at Mayer Brown LLP, and I'm humbled to be speaking with you today. And I'm especially honored to be speaking to this class on the 25th anniversary of becoming a Golden Apple Scholar myself. That's right, I'm a 1995 Golden Apple Scholar. Man, was that really 25 years ago? You know, Kisa has known me for that long, so tell them, Kisa, that there was a time when I was young and pretty. But as youth and beauty fade, and hopefully what will become evident as I talk about my own personal journey with the Golden Apple, the commitment that each of you are making today will last a lifetime. I've been privileged enough to be giving these remarks for a number of years now. And even though I've preceded our keynote speaker on prior inductions, I'm still surprised when the Golden Apple asked me to address our teachers in training, considering that I have not been in a classroom in over 10 years. I mean, not only am I not a teacher, I'm barely a good person. I am a lawyer, for God's sake. Yet, for some reason, Alicia and Alan must see some light in my soul that they've again asked me to share my personal journey with the Golden Apple during today's induction. So blame them for giving me the go-ahead to do one of my favorite things, talk about me. Well, you know, my relationship with the Golden Apple has evolved over the years, and perhaps it's recency bias, but I can't stop thinking about our last board meeting, where one of our members asked how uncomfortable we were willing to get given the current state of the world. Now, I always believe in giving credit where credit is due, so I must give my fellow board member, Kevin Johnson, credit for inspiring the 3 words that came to mind as I reflect on my journey with the Golden Apple: discomfort, growth, and family. I'll start at the beginning with how my journey came to be. I grew up off 16th in Austin, just outside the city. Neither of my parents went to college, and my father dropped out of high school at 16. So like many Golden Apple scholars, I was the first to go to college in my immediate family, and there was no way that I or my family would be able to pay for college. And that was a real issue because I loved learning. I loved it. And then I heard of the Golden Apple Scholars Program as a way, one, not only to share my love of learning, but also to help pay for college. So my first contact was probably similar to all of yours, drafting what seemed like way too long of essays, articulating why I wanted to be a teacher, and participating in interviews. At 17 years old, I was expected to make a near decade-long commitment, and I was uncomfortable. But here's the thing about discomfort. I realized that the greatest moments in my life have come after moments of discomfort and experiencing growth. I think about my time at Northwestern University, the first kid in the family even to go to college, let alone trying to get a dual concentration in history and math at this hoity-toity university where I just didn't fit in. I was already uncomfortable. And then after toiling at Northwestern to get a degree, at age 21, I was teaching, volunteering as a wrestling coach, and being called Mr. C by students who didn't look like me, who learned in different ways from me, and yet who needed me. And that was hard. And again, I was uncomfortable. But discomfort brings engagement and change. Discomfort means you're doing something that others are unlikely to do. It's easy to stay comfortable. It would have been easier to look at the education system, toss up my hands and say, well, that's just the way it is, and be comfortable. But I've always believed that education is the great equalizer. And I recall the words of President Kennedy, who said, our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. So I had a choice, comfort or progress. I chose progress, to listen to and to learn from my students and get really uncomfortable. I wanted progress. And if I wanted that, then I had to learn about cultures that were different from mine. I had to learn about technology that did not exist when I was an undergrad. I would have to create innovative lesson plans, incorporating current events and the latest expertise in the classroom. I would spend nights at the local coffee shop, prepping my students, helping them with homework, and reviewing essays to assist them into the admissions of the college of their choice. And there was no extra pay for this, and it wasn't easy. It was hard, and a lot of the times it was uncomfortable, but it led to my personal as well as my students' growth. And each year that I was a teacher, I believed I'd continue to do what was hard, to do what was uncomfortable, and to grow, which is one of the reasons I went to law school. I always wanted to continue growing. I want to continue learning. And again, I was faced with discomfort. I was still teaching full time. I would spend 4 nights a week at Loyola Law School, with classes lasting until 9 p.m., commuting over an hour each way, getting home well after 10 o'clock at night, grading papers past midnight, or writing the day's lesson plans. And only after I had finished creating the next day's lesson would I turn to my own studies. Law school was a period of tremendous strife in my life. It was challenging and hard and incredibly uncomfortable, but it was rewarding and led to growth in ways I could not have foreseen. Becoming a lawyer allowed me to grow into serving the Golden Apple family in new ways. For example, when I began practicing law in 2009, I was at Skadden Arps, which is considered one of the best law firms in the world. And it opened the door for me to serve the program in a new way. It allowed me to become a board member, a role for which my current firm, Mayer Brown, offers unwavering support. In fact, they helped me develop and continue to teach a course in school law related issues that I'd usually teach to Summers during their 4th summer. And I hope to see all of you in my classroom one day. And even though I'm 25 years past where you sit today, practicing law instead of teaching in the classroom, the Golden Apple is family, and I still consider myself a Golden Apple Scholar. So what does that mean? What is a Golden Apple Scholar? What did you sign up for? Now I could rattle off some of the stats you've already heard, that you'll spend your 4 summers learning from award-winning teachers, that you'll get 700 hours more classroom experience than the average teacher. By the way, that's 3 times more than the average. That you're gonna get proprietary curriculum and award-winning instruction. But those stats do not do justice to what a Golden Apple Scholar really is. You didn't just sign up for stats. You signed up for a new family, a beautiful, diverse family. All the faces that you're going to see on today's virtual induction, they're your family now. I can sincerely say that my Golden Apple family has touched every aspect of my life. I have gained countless friends and mentors as my journey with the Golden Apple continues to grow. Even recently, when I made the very difficult decision to leave Skadden for Mayor Brown, I sought the advice of my fellow Golden Apple board members like John Smart, Duffy Gaynor, Stacy Bolton, each of whom took time out of their busy schedules to meet with me personally. Now, I believe they did this not only out of the goodness of their hearts because they're good human beings, and believe me, they are. But I believe that the Golden Apple is, from the scholars to the staff, to the fellows, to the board, is truly a family where people will go the extra mile to help each other and to help make the world a better place. And as you spend your college summers with your fellow scholars, you're going to learn with them, you're going to get uncomfortable with them, and you will grow with them. And yes, I am confident to say that you will grow to love them and your new Golden Apple family. Now, I apologize. I know these remarks might be a little long, but I couldn't leave you today without saying this. We are at an uncomfortable crossroad in this country. And it may be easier for us to think, I wish we could go back to the way things were before coronavirus, before the murder of George Floyd. But growth is where discomfort is. And I and my Golden Apple family have a lot of discomfort right now. It makes me uncomfortable that as a US history major from Northwestern University, it took an iPhone update to teach me about Juneteenth. That it took an episode of Watchmen in 2019 to teach me about the Tulsa Massacre. That it took a Black football player taking a knee to understand what Black Lives Matter means and to appreciate and truly embrace the movement. That makes me uncomfortable. But I believe that to grow, you have to embrace the discomfort. Sit with the uneasiness. It feels awkward and it can be scary. And it's certainly not the easy path to take. But if you stay in your comfort zone, you will definitely miss the opportunity to grow. So as educators and as Golden Apple scholars, it is our responsibility to seek out discomfort. Be deliberate about doing things that push your limit. Difficulty helps you grow. And as you grow, we, your Golden Apple family, will be there to support and celebrate you along the way. Thank you for the honor of addressing you today. Congratulations on becoming Golden Apple scholars, and welcome to the Golden Apple family. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Louis. Very, very inspiring. Got goosebumps listening to that closing. Thank you, Louis. Our next speaker is an individual who leads our work each and every day with a smile and a joke. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker, President of Golden Apple Foundation, Alan Mather. Alan?
Thanks so much, Ziggy. And thank you. I just been so impressed by everybody you've heard here today, and I hope you have too. Golden Apple is truly a special place. But first, I want to say how great it is to virtually meet and see everyone, and looking forward to the day when we can do that in person. But I want to first issue a welcome from Alicia Winkler and me. Alicia and I co-lead Golden Apple. And with this incredible team you just heard from, as well as an entire community that has been built over 35 years, we want to welcome you into the fold. We at Golden Apple are award-winning teachers and leaders. We are those who, like you, have been part of the Golden Apple Scholars Program. We are Golden Apple Accelerators, career changers who are going into teaching. As the newest part of Golden Apple, you are a part of something much larger than yourselves. The foundation has been around for 35 years, and for 32 of those 35, we've been preparing teachers. You are among an impressive group of outstanding educators who are part of Golden Apple. Welcome. So from the amazing team you have just met and heard from, as well as others you'll meet along the way, you will see the support that each of you will receive as scholars. We work to ensure that you are a great teacher who will fulfill your commitment of teaching in a school of need in Illinois for 5 years. And we want to see you succeed. For your success is our success. And our collective success means that Illinois' children succeed, that they will be better off. While you went through quite an application process to get here, we went through quite a process to select you. And we expect great things from you, and you should expect a lot from us. But we know that you are the right people to address the challenges ahead. And there are challenges. This is such an important time to be going into teaching, a vital time to have well-prepared, mission-driven educators. So as you heard from Ziggy, our director of recruitment, as you saw on the video you just watched, our nation and our state are facing a dramatic teacher shortage. And this teacher shortage is most acute in the places where teachers are needed the most. Those areas that are economically struggling, usually, but not exclusively, in urban and rural communities. That's why we seek to bring in outstanding candidates from across Illinois. And that is you. But of course, it's not just the teacher shortage that makes this an important time to be a teacher. You are entering at a truly unique time. As Lewis referenced, this is a time of great change driven by recent events. To have stellar, well-prepared teachers is key in this moment. Teachers who not only know the impact they can have, but teachers who have the skills to bring about change. In addition, you will also have the support network to get through when things get difficult. So let's look at those challenges that Lewis referenced. First, we were struck with a pandemic. Schools closed the doors, and we're still not sure what school is going to look like this fall. And as you all are well aware, all learning went virtual. There's been a lot of talk about the equity of devices and getting technology as well as connectivity into students' hands, and all that is incredibly important. But even with all that, that doesn't mean that teachers were prepared or equipped to provide meaningful lessons to students. If I had to guess, there are one or two of you watching right now who might have had virtual lessons that were less than stellar. But I hope that you also had teachers who know how to keep you engaged and advance your learning. Not only do we work to prepare you to be the best in-person teacher you can be, but also if this continues or if this happens again while you're teaching, you will know the instructional practices to follow in any environment. Of course, the second major event that makes being a teacher so important is what followed the murder of George Floyd and the release of a wave of protests around the country around systemic racism. We at Golden Apple are committed to working toward equity, and we'll continue to listen, learn, reflect, and engage in anti-racist work. But right now, think of the importance of teachers during this time. Great teachers help students understand and dismantle the systems of oppression in our country, as well as learn and lead how we can all become better informed community members and peers. Teachers now more than ever need to help young people sort through the cacophony of news, to make sense of what's happening in their world and the world beyond what they know. Teachers help separate facts from efforts to manipulate facts. A skillful teacher, whether in early childhood, high school math, or middle school music, can help make learning come alive, can get students involved in improving and supporting their own communities, and can bring about the equitable outcomes we all seek for the next generations. You are the ones who are taking this on, and we need you. So you have a huge task ahead of you, but you also have those you have met today, as well as others who are here to build you up, to affirm the good that you do, to challenge you to look through different lenses, and to support you when you take risks in the best interests of children. Welcome to the journey, to the race that so many people talked about today. We cannot wait for you to get started. Thank you, and teach golden.
And now, for the moment you all have been waiting for. Scholars, stand up in your living room, grab your family member's hand, start your Snapchat filters. We will now introduce the 2020 newly inducted scholars with names read by Talia, Kristen, and Cheryl.
Thank you, Ziggy. We will begin by welcoming our scholars attending Augustana. Liaison, Dr. Michael Scarlett. Faith Rund. Grace Boyles. Next, our scholars attending Aurora University are welcomed by Liaison, Dr. Deborah Stevens. Adeline Gruss. Holly Powers. Lisette Rodriguez. Next, our scholar attending Blackburn College is welcomed by Liaison, Dr. Michelle Stacy. Evan Hopper. Next, our scholars attending Bradley University are welcomed by Liaison, Dr. Cecile Arquette. Gianna Agrelo. Sophia Flores. Zachary Large. Tariq Priest. Abdullah Shuaib. Next, our scholar attending Concordia University is welcomed by Liaison Dr. Kathleen Bracino. Andreas Vasquez. Next, our scholars attending DePaul University are welcomed by Liaison Dr. Horace Hall. Emma Angley. Viviana Benitez. Ayana Fairley. Adriana Franzen Moreno. Vanessa Garcia. Alexandra Hurtado Villalobos. Jason Lee. Marissa Rivera. Carla Santiago. Mia Testa. Amalia Uribe. Luis Vargas Soto. Next, our scholar attending Dominican University is welcomed by Liaison Dr. Penny Silvers. Shauna Phelps. Next, our scholars attending Eastern Illinois University are welcomed by Liaison Dr. Stephen Lucas. Chase Bosler. Maura Daly. Madalyn Ruse. Emily Sherwood. Next, our scholars attending Elmhurst College are welcomed by Liaison Dr. Jeannie White. Mary Kolchansky. Marielle Urquiza. Next, our scholars attending Greenville College are welcomed by Liaison Dr. Teresa Holden. Joshua Farthing. Jacqueline Gomez. And now our scholars attending Illinois College are welcomed by Liaison Dr. Todd Oberg. Ellie Abel. Adam Reed. Zachary Underwood. Abigail Wiesner. Next, our scholars attending Illinois State University are welcomed by University Liaison Dr. Barbara Meyer. Ramylin Alexander. Yareli Alvarez Torres, Paxton Barrett, Renata Burgess, Mia Carrasco, Lucas Dom, Cameron Diber, Stephen Dimma, Lillian Janady, Evan Ernst,
Jonathan Fasciola, Natalie Guerrera Ramirez, Elizabeth Hatcher, Hannah Hathaway, Colin Hobart, Allison Hoffman, Abigail Lopez, Nicole Lowe, Keiko Moss, Gino Martirano, Carrie McDonald, Lourdes Menjivar, Megan O'Donnell, Adriana Rosales, Paola Sandoval, Johanna Skib, Chu Chu Thane. From Illinois Wesleyan University, welcomed by liaison Dr. Leah Neelas. We have Natalie Anderson, Brandon Chavez Jimenez, Sherna Jinty. From Lake Forest College, welcomed by liaison Dr. Jackie S. Pop, Naki Rizvi, Yaima Santiago. From Lewis University, welcomed by liaison Dr. Martha Wilkins, Robin Magnai, Michael Yerkes. From Loyola University, welcomed by liaison Nancy Goldberger, Katerina Alvarado, Lois Anderson, Elisa Flores. From McHenry University, welcomed by liaison Dr. Timothy Richards, Noah Carter, Jordan Spreika. From Millikan University, welcomed by liaison Dr. Georgette Page, Stephen Allen, Jamie Reed, and Braden Snyder. From North Central College, welcomed by liaison Dr. Mary Beth Ressler, Reagan Jordan. From North Park University, welcomed by liaison Dr. Ida Maduram, Amara West. From Northern Illinois University, welcomed by liaison Kathy Dombeck, Jalen Carter, Evelyn Figueroa, Meredith Jalander, Kiari Hardison, Hannah Schomburg, Mia Smithline. From Olivet Nazarene University, welcomed by Dr. Ruth Reynolds, Maya Tijerina. From St. Xavier University, welcomed by liaison Dr. Kathleen McInerney, Brianna Pratcher.
From Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, welcomed by liaison Dr. Saran Donahue, Olivia Jackson. From Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, welcomed by liaison Dr. Brian Johnson. Adrian Newbold. Alexa Staley. Abigail Walters. Gavin Witzkin. From Trinity Christian College, welcomed by liaison Kelly Lenars. Marielle Martin. From University of Illinois at Chicago, welcomed by liaison Brittany Beck James. Angelica Kaholoon. Alexi Aiken. Jack Davidek. Diana Lagunas. Joseph Ray. Jose Torres. From University of Illinois at Springfield, welcomed by liaison Dr. Megan Kessler. Krishana Scott. From University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, welcomed by Kathy Ryan. Connor Barnes. Andrew Alexander Bedoya. Raúl Ceniceros. Lucas Chitik. Andrés Ceniceros. Maura Coughlin. Amira Dadar. Alexa Flores. Ana Garcia. Aiden Guzman Perez. Lauren Harper. Lily Juan. Dia Joshi. Audrey Kermgard. Ashley Lazaro. Claire Lee. Shannon Lee. Ariana Madrigal. Andrea Maldonado. Eric Maloney. Carl Matak Gajevnik. Marlene Morales. Cecilia O'Haley. Tosi Oluwu. Katerina Papianu. Lorena Patiño. Gabriela Perez. Bartek Sumyek. Natalie Thompson. Nathaniel Watterson. Anthony Wright. Ashley Sue. Michael Yamashiro. From Western Illinois University, welcomed by Dr. Eric Mansfield. Abigail Lindsay. Elizabeth Orwig. Isaac Weiss. From Wheaton College, welcomed by Dr. Sally Morrison. Courtney Mulligan.
I present to you the 2020 Golden Apple Scholar class. Congratulations. Now I leave you with a few words from our Golden Apple alumni community. Thank you all for attending, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Have you ever wondered why you are here?
You are the only you there has ever been or will ever be.
So much to offer.
Maybe you will invent something that no one has ever seen before.
Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky.
Your life is yours.
Try as many things as you can try.
See as much as you can see.
Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget it is on journeys that discoveries are made.
Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day.
Do everything with love. Follow your heart and see where it leads you.
Maybe you are here to shine a light into places that have been dark for far too long.
Maybe you will speak up for those who can't speak up for themselves.
Maybe you are here to help in ways that only you can.
There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy.
At times it will feel really hard.
And you might make a mess of things.
And you may fall down. And you may fail.
But you will also get back up and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller.
Because there's really more inside you than you know.
And this world needs your gifts, your talents, and your big ideas.
And maybe you are just getting started.
What if you are only scratching the surface of what you can do and what you can be?
What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet?
There's something powerful, even magical about you.
You already have what it takes to do big things.
Maybe you have no idea just how good you really can be.
And maybe you don't know how much you matter.
But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting centuries for someone exactly like you.
One thing is for sure.
You are here, and because you are here, anything is possible.
Because I had a teacher, I love to learn.
Discovered that I can do much more than I thought I could.
I realized it's okay that some things are harder than others.
I found that challenges.
Because I had a teacher, I discovered that there are other ways of being smart.
And I know that mistakes are just part of getting something right.
I realized that some of the hardest things for me to do made me feel the proudest.
Because I had a teacher, I know how good it feels when someone is happy to see me.
I know that I can always ask for help.
I feel like I have a friend on my side.
I learned that some of the most important things are said without words.
Because I had a teacher, I have whole new worlds to explore.
I discovered that what I can't imagine, I can make real.
And now I feel like I can do anything.
Because I had you, I learned.
you.